Three, two, one.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. We are the Real Pineapple. This is Hunter here, and I'm here with the prodigal son has returned. I'm here with Scott. Scott, how you doing, sir?
Ooh. I'm doing good, Hunter. How are you doing?
Okay, is it weird that got me psyched up? Is that weird?
No,
it's kind of like Arsenio Hall a little bit.
Yeah, except way funnier. But
am I at the Apollo right now?
You would kill the Apollo. And I'm here with Colin. Colin, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. What's up, everybody?
I like the intros tonight, but we are here to talk about. So, tell me if I'm wrong, but
you're wrong.
Damn it! I set myself up for that. But doesn't it feel like we've just had a lot of not great comedies for a while, like between The House and Daddy's? I'd rather just name two Will Ferrell movies. I don't care. Daddy's Home 2 and just I don't know if you guys have seen the preview for it, but that new Amy Schumer movie looks fucking dreadful. I Feel Pretty is what it's called.
Got a new Jenny McCarthy movie coming out, or not Jenny McCarthy? Melissa McCarthy.
Whoa!
Hopefully we got one of those too. Melissa McCarthy.
Oh god, that's right. When she goes back to college or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, they showed that preview. It looked horrible.
Yeah, it's not going to be a good year for.
And do you see? What do you guys think of Cockblockers? I don't know about that one.
I think I'm either going to be surprised by it or I'm really going to hate it.
It has potential, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. But we're here talking about Game Night, which is a movie. I gotta admit, I was kind of about going in. I just didn't really have any opinion of it either way. This stars Jason Bateman, who, Scott, you're actually the one who turned me on to that Netflix show he has. I'm totally blanking on it.
Ozark.
Yeah, that's a damn good show. Like I haven't seen.
Did you watch all of that, Scott?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, you might be talking about me because I've seen that whole series.
Oh, okay, maybe it was. Sorry.
I love Ozark.
Dude, no, it's a damn good show. I was like, holy shit, okay.
Is there a lot of mountains in that show?
It's definitely not a big lake.
Okay.
That would have been a good hell of a twist.
I hate lakes. It really turns me off about TV shows with lakes. Big bodies of water.
Unless there's giant, oversized crocodile, of course.
Ooh, and maybe a tornado?
Or a geostorm. That should totally actually happen.
Shit.
Oh, if you combine all three of those, that's. Oh, hey, Buster. Welcome to the podcast.
That's Colin's dog. Has to jump in, but that was the first time I'd seen Jason Bateman not play Jason Bateman. You know what I mean? Because whenever I see him, and I should be ashamed of myself for not remembering what is this character's name on Arrested Development?
Michael Bluth.
Bluth.
Thank you. I just see that character whenever I see him in something. It just seems like he's playing the same character.
Well, I think it's part of because he does play those same characters.
Yeah.
Very almost I relate him to even a I'm blanking on his name. Just he plays the same role in every movie, kind of like a likable, goofy. I don't know, everything always kind of happens to him. Like
Ben Stiller?
Yes, Ben Stiller, yeah.
There you go.
So, yeah, that's the vibe I get off of him. So that's why I am with you on, when I went into it, just not really expecting it to be something I'm going to be worth watching.
Yeah, and then when I saw this had this co-star Rachel McAdams, I got really concerned because usually when I see Rachel McAdams in something, it's some dumb rom-com, and I just go, ugh, why are you in this? It's not even, I don't think she's a bad actress, she just picks not great things, or things that I don't really care about. But not to give too much of my review away, but I was pleasantly surprised by this. Colin, kind of your thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of had a different opinion going in. I actually really like Jason Bateman. I think he's definitely, I think, a lot different in at least how serious he's gotten in a lot of his roles for movies and the TV series. Like you said, that's definitely the most dramatic role he's been in. But I always seem to like him. So I was pretty excited to see him. And then Rachel McAdams, I think she started out doing rom-coms. I liked her in Southpaw. I liked her in Spotlight.
That's true.
I mean, she's done movies that I actually really like. I mean, she was in the Sherlock Holmes movies. But in any case, I actually kind of like those two actors. And so, I mean, I was at least, like, interested to see how this would play out. I didn't really have high hopes. I was just like, it's kind of getting buried late February. Usually not a lot's coming out. Big movies this time. And yeah, I don't know. I was kind of like, this may be good. This may be really dumb. It has basically no one attached that has any like resume of making good comedies as far as like directors and writers, and so yeah, I was like, I don't know how the hell this is gonna be.
Yeah, so I mean, just kind of getting to the plot just real quick. So Jason Bateman plays Max, and Rachel McAdams plays Annie. And I gotta admit, Colin, I was really, I don't know why, I was thinking about you and Nikki as Max and Annie for some reason, just because the relationship was just very cute, and it was just very sweet, and I was like, oh, this is actually kind of adorable. And
and very competitive.
That too, exactly. And I was about to get there because Kyle Chandler plays Brooks, who's Max's older brother. And if you learn nothing else about Colin loves being his brother at fill in the blank. So when I saw that rivalry, I'm like, oh yeah, I can totally see this. But Brooks is he's such an asshole that only someone that knows you that well could be that much of a prick to you. Because what does he do? He pulls up in Max's dream car. He pulls a Mel Gibson from Daddy's Home 2 and gets this like Airbnb type house to host another game night just to be an asshole. That's like a fucking mansion. And just all these little things, these little snide comments putting down their house and shit. And the brother's just an asshole. So he hosts this game night that involves someone in the group getting kidnapped, and then basically hijinks ensue. That's the shorthand version of it. And I'm totally forgetting about. I always just call him Winston.
Yeah, I was so happy to see Winston in this.
Lamorne Morris, if I can never remember his name, but he's been on a bunch of Drunk History. He's fucking great. He was my third favorite character in this movie, probably. And so I just kind of want to talk about it. Were we surprised by this? I mean, did we laugh a lot? Like, Scott, talk to me here.
Yeah, definitely surprised by it. There's a lot of times these like adult comedies are not super funny. It just kind of gives them a chance to swear or show like a boob or two that they weren't allowed to show before. But I feel like they didn't really cheapen it down or anything like that. But yeah, kind of a cast of unknowns. I ended up really enjoying Billy Magnuson,
Yes.
who played Ryan. Kind of like a jockey, douchey friend, basically. I don't know, this kind of had the feeling of a movie that could go in the way of like Rachel McAdams' character maybe is smitten by the brother or something like that, and like it was going to be one of those kind of movies.
Yeah,
and I'm glad that it didn't like go. Not that they were hinting towards that, but I'm glad that they decided not to take it there. Also, I was curious to see how they were going to try to make a movie out of this, because in the beginning they kind of fast forward through a few things. of like where the two meet, where Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams characters meet, and that they're super competitive and into game nights, and that they host game nights, and like a lot of this story is like centered around this one particular event and this one game that they have together, which they never do because his brother's in town and he's going to put on a show for him, basically. It was interesting to see them tie it all together, and it was less about like them, I don't know, the whole game night idea, and kind of morphed into a completely different thing, which I thought was pretty refreshing, to be honest.
Yeah, Colin, kind of your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think my main worry was this movie, and I still keep getting the name wrong when I'm talking about it, is I kept like thinking of the movie Date Night with Steve Carell and Tina Fey, which is not that great of a movie. I definitely don't like that one. So I just kept thinking Date Night, and I'm just like, why are they re-releasing this movie? But
that's sorry to interrupt you. That's actually what I accidentally told the person at the ticket booth.
Yeah.
I said Date Night, and they're like, "Oh, game night." I was like, "Oh, sure, let's do that."
You mean not the 2010
Weird.
hit with Steve Carell?
Yeah, strange.
Yeah. So that just like, I don't know, I couldn't get that out of my head. But yeah, when I got into it, yeah, that was one of the things I really liked about it too, was how Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams kind of played off of each other. I thought their like relationship was like really authentic, and it really led to a lot of the gags being so funny because they're just so out of place in this whole situation. And I will say, like, if you're the type of person that's like situations that are completely impossible of happening and events taking place and just things that like happen to go right throughout a scene so that the gag or the scene just gets from point A to B, like if that drives you crazy, like you're gonna hate this movie. Like if you can push that aside, or if that type of stuff doesn't bother you, like and you can enjoy kind of what's going on in this completely impossible situation, like the characters are actually really fun to watch. And not just Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams, like you were saying. You got Lamorne Morris, and I can't see his girlfriend or wife on the IMDb list here. I'm trying to look, but anyway, they have a running joke going on the entire movie about how she was
Michelle Kylie Bunbury. Sorry.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah. So there's a running joke that she had slept with a celebrity, and I'm just gonna call him Winston. Winston won't let it go for the whole movie, which like that type of stuff. I think is really funny. And then you ended up getting the British lady Sarah playing off of the dude. So any case, and then you had the cop dude next door who obviously is
my MVP.
Yeah, who is so crucial to the plot, and his deadpan delivery. He's from Breaking Bad too. That dude is a great actor.
Oh, that's right, motherfucker. That's where I was.
Yeah, he's in the later seasons. He plays a crazy character, but he's an awesome actor. So him playing this role, like basically all the actors and the characters, is what sold this movie, and that was what was so pleasantly surprising to me.
So I gotta talk about the neighbor real quick. You're right. His deadpan is so deadpan. It's maybe the most deadpan I've seen in a year or two, and he just had me rolling. And
the dog, oh my god, he's just constantly carrying this white fluffy dog. It's staring right into the camera the whole time. It's killing me.
What I did find really interesting about the character is, you're right, he ends up being surprisingly integral to the plot in a way that I went, bravo movie, I genuinely was not expecting that. Gary is the character's name. But they walk this fine balance of him being like creepy because he has this shrine, like Helga from Hey Arnold style, built his ex-wife, and it's, when you see it, it's very unnerving.
Nice Hey Arnold drop, by the way.
Thank you.
Whenever you get a chance.
Yeah.
I'll sit near the shrine Bible note. Hey Arnold, there we go. But
perfect.
But What's crazy though is that he's just a lonely dude. Honestly, like he's just lonely after the divorce, and it's that fine line of him being weird. If you were the neighbors going, oh, I don't know if we want to talk to you, but then you having sympathy for him because he's just a lonely dude, and all his lines, whenever they needed a laugh, they went to him, and he delivered every time. Good for you. He had me rolling. Like, I was actually in tears. His first scene where he's talking about how there's this whole scene with Tostitos chips, and that whole kind of speech, I was dying.
The 3-for-1 deal.
Yeah, I was like, how would that be beneficial to the people of Frito-Lay? I was like, wow, okay, great counter. If there is a complaint about this movie, there are a couple scenes where they could have cut like 25 seconds earlier. I just want some of the scenes dragged for me, just because it needed another edit go through. I mean, am I the only one kind of noticing that?
No, I agree. I feel like, especially like, there's certain scenes that involved the creepy neighbor that I felt like did, but I think that they tied it in later as well, so it was all kind of like a running joke throughout.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree with you. I wasn't like, laughing the entire time or anything like that. It was kind of an up and down movie almost for me, where there are points where I was rolling my eyes, not the most sarcastic way I can, but just like it was fairly predictable as a whole. And as Colin, you were saying that if you're not into comedies, where like how did you describe, you saw things coming,
or just like impossible situations that are unfolding,
right? Oh yes, yeah. So like coincidences, exactly. So like exactly. So the whole way that the main plot unfolds is that, like, because they're doing this extreme date night, things happen to where they think that might or might not be a game, and it's like all this could not have happened when it hinges on this one little thing, basically. So, like you said, Colin, if you can get past that, then I think you would have a good time. And I ended up having a really good time in the movie. I didn't think I would, and I was pleasantly surprised for sure, especially the amount that I was laughing. I feel like they didn't waste any time making fun of themselves, which I think is important too.
I'm gonna kind of double down on what Colin just said. I thought the movie was plausible enough for the first 2/3, but then that last third kicks in and it goes into it. You could really drop the movie a grade or two by how it wraps itself up, because it does get into, ooh, okay, I'm trying to give you guys some rope and you're trying to hang yourself with it. It gets pretty implausible. It actually almost turns into a Mission Impossible movie towards the end of it, honestly. Despite a really random cameo by Michael C. Hall, I was like, that's random. I was like, okay, well.
Yeah, it was kind of nice to see him in something again, though. I was like, oh, Dexter! Look at Dexter!
Yeah, I mean, true, but I mean, he's been doing theater again. But
yeah,
I'm still mad at him for that last season of Dexter. God,
right?
But
I know it brought up good memories and then a little bit of bad memories.
Yeah, like half good memories and then half bad memories. But he was actually funny in just the little role they gave him. But I thought that was actually really well done. I just always love seeing her because she's on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I love the role Chelsea Peretti had. Mm-hmm. She just always makes me laugh. So seeing her, I went, oh, that's really random, but good for you. If there is another complaint, I would just say, I mean, outside the scenes being a little long, it is kind of all over the place. Like, I think it keeps its focus decently well, but it's like the movie's trying to fit so many gags in. Sometimes the plot has to be sacrificed for that a little bit. Which, it's a comedy, it's supposed to make you laugh, but it's a little inconsistent in that way, especially moving from the second to third act. with that said, there is a scene where they have to get this. They're trying to get this egg out of this out of rich people's fight club, which that was a joke that kind of made me roll my eyes. I went, okay, he mentioned it earlier in the movie. Of course, it's gonna come back. Sure, why not? But it's them trying to get this egg out of the house, and the way that scene was filmed, I went, wow, that was actually really well done. Like, it's kind of sweeping with some shots and everything. I went, okay,
and it's a one take shot too.
Yeah,
and it did a good job, because I've seen movies that try and do the one take where they're trying to do the Birdman, and they do a bad job. And I was actually impressed. I was like, oh, I don't actually know where you're cutting this in and out. This is pretty well done.
Yeah, I think that's that was probably the most surprising thing about this movie. Not that I laughed, but the cinematography was actually really well done, mixed with like the soundtrack kind of that they had going. I didn't know that they were going to be able to carry that throughout the entire movie, but it all kind of fit together nicely. There's a point where the camera revolves around. It's just like a small section of the movie where they're trying to break in through the door, and he happens to tap the lock with something, and the camera moves as the lock is being turned, basically. There's like little things like that, and then you're like, okay, they kind of stepped up their game with this.
Yeah, I thought they were really borrowing from like Edgar Wright too,
Yes.
which is a great person. You know, if imitation is the greatest form of flattering, like, Edgar Wright should be very flattered, because I felt like they did a lot of his style. Like, like just like in Shaun of the Dead or any of his movies, where all of a sudden a scene will change, and then they'll do like 3 quick clips, putting change into the thing, buying the scissors and the sewing kit, and then all of a sudden you're outside, and you just quick cut, and then you're out, and like the loud, like sound editing that comes into, like, I like that style. So that's cool to see someone else throwing that around, trying that. And I was interested. I was like, oh man, who edited this movie? Because they threw in some cool stuff. And the dude that edited it, or at least one of the main editors, did Get Out as well. So he's clearly doing some good stuff, because that movie had some cool editing as well.
Yeah, it did. That's interesting. Good call on that. Yeah, kind of getting to our final thoughts here. As we kind of wrap up, I thought Rachel McAdams was genuinely hilarious in this. She was very sweet and just cute and bubbly, but she had some one-liners making fun of Max that made me laugh really hard. Winston, Kevin, the wrap up to him and his wife sleeping with a celebrity. That was one of the hardest laughs I got. The payoff on that joke was really
incredible.
Well done.
It was really well done.
I went, okay, good for you. And the neighbor, Gary, man, Gary stepped up. He was the MVP for me of this movie. Anytime they needed, that laugh, they went to Gary, and they use him just enough, and they don't overuse him, which is, I'm sure in earlier drafts they might have had him, be all throughout the movie, but they used him sparingly, which I thought worked a lot better for him. And Jason Bateman, man, he does a good job of making you like him, but understand why he's in the spot he's in. And it does get some there's a little bit of an emotional beat between the second and third act. I went, you know what, that was handled a lot better than I thought it would be, to be totally honest. So again, Colin could not be more correct. If logic is this thing that really is a make or break for you, you're probably not going to enjoy this as much as other people will. But for me, I really enjoyed it. I'd give this a solid A- for me. I'm gonna give it an A-. Colin, you're kind of find your thoughts and your grades there.
Yeah. So I think if I was to lay out, what I really had to critique about the movie, it's kind of that the story gets well out of hand, especially in the third act, like you said, to the point where I just thought the movie could have been better if they just dialed it back a little bit. Because the movie is so good when it comes to their character development and how they play off of each other, and you get so much comedy out of that. It's a really good comedy. You get I was happy to be in a theater laughing a good amount, like out loud, which I don't feel like I did much like all last year. So
yeah,
that was refreshing. I thought the movie had some it was all over the place in its tone at times, where it was like, at times it was trying to freak you out, like it was a horror movie with like a knife coming out of nowhere and as a jump scare, and then you had other moments where it was like an action movie, and it was just like a bunch of movies kind of like thrown into one. But you can tell that the writer, and I think probably the directors too, working together, they were clearly like movie fans, because a lot of the gags that came out that I really liked was them referencing movies in their own movie. Like Rachel McAdams has a scene where all of a sudden she's Honey Bunny from Pulp Fiction, yelling like, "Oh, you motherfuckers!" If you move, like scenes like that. Or at the end, they're like, "Are you trying to do what Liam Neeson did in Taken 3?" He's like, "He did this in Taken 3." Like I thought those moments were funny. So I appreciated that they were fans of all these different movies, and they were just throwing those little things in there. Overall I liked it. I would definitely watch this again, because there's just going to be a scene, like you could throw this movie on, there's going to be a scene that's probably going to make you laugh, and that's all I really want in a comedy. It's just, I think it could have been like really, really good if they would have just kind of dialed back how ridiculous it was, and just maybe fixed a couple things here and there. But I'm going to give this all B+. I thought it was pretty dope.
Okay. Scott, go ahead.
Yeah, agreeing with a lot of what you guys are saying. I think it helps when I have low expectations for a movie going into it, and then it surprises me. So I'm like, oh, you know what? I actually really like this movie. I think I was definitely brought out of it at certain points with the ridiculousness of it at points. But I really liked the way that they were able to laugh at themselves, and like Colin is saying, reference other movies, kind of like, draw you in a little bit and see if you're paying attention, basically. And along with the cinematography, I feel like is kind of underused in comedies overall. It's just kind of like stand up and make me laugh. I don't want to see any other form of art going on here. But that was refreshing to see, and same with like that bird's eye view that they were able to draw into. I think it was used well, but I was definitely drawn out of it at points, and it was a solid overall movie, and I found myself laughing, and again, what Colin said is like, that's all I want too, is to be able to go into a movie and laugh, if that's what they're going for. So I also give this a B+.
Fair enough. Okay.
Tight.
B pluses are tight. B pluses are tight. But yeah, I mean, if you've seen Black Panther twice already, like I have, I mean, this is if you want to see less black people, this is something good that you can go see. But
no black people, just less.
Yeah, just less. If you want to see the new girl designated amount of black people, go see Game Night.
If you want to see like a safe amount of black people, then like that was it.
If you want to see enough black people in the movie that other black people won't talk at the screen, go see Game.
Over there, you got us a perfect barometer.
Thank you. All right, calm down there, college boy. But guys, have you seen Game Night? Let us know what you thought in the comments below. You can follow us here on SoundCloud, Podbean, iTunes, and Google Music at The Real Pineapple. You can follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. Like us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. You can like Colin. You can like Colin. Colin's
like me. Come on. I'm a good guy.
You can follow Colin on Twitter at
The Real O'Neill.
And guys, you can also follow our buddy Scott on Twitter at
Name in the First.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll have a review up this weekend for there's nothing coming. Oh, Red Sparrow, that comes out this weekend, so I'll love it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. What? I love Jennifer Lawrence. What are you talking about?
When's Pacific Rim 2 come out?
24th.
Oh, damn it! It's still a month.
I love how pumped you guys are for Pacific. I'm pumped for Pacific Rim.
Hell yeah!
Uprising, right?
I don't know. Let's fucking go. What should be called? Pacific Rim 2. Let's fucking go.
I would watch that. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you soon.
Meow.